then, almost ready to start Season 2. The players are already here on Excel side. Now, normally what I do is I get the experts, aka Cole and Stumpy, to give me their predictions. But I thought, let's be a little bit different today. Let's be a bit more visual. So I've got them to stand where they think the team is going to win. So that's pretty unanimous. We're going Excel, aren't we, Cole?
Yeah, I think so.
He's going Excel on this one. Well, that means that we'll have to head over here. We'll leave Excel there, like the likes of Neil's Cook, Mr. Cookie Man, and we will head over past the players' tunnel to Epsilon, where he should be here looking. Well, you're in the darkness because you're so tall.
I'm in the darkness.
Come forward a little bit. That's more like it. Stumpy is going for an Epsilon prediction here. The players are ready. Data. I mean, do you feel confident that Stumpy reckons you are going to win today?
Yes.
My client doesn't need to answer that question.
OK, all right.
Can you move on?
It's like an agent as well. I'll tell you what, you've got the predictions. Cole reckons Excel, Stumpy reckons Epsilon. I'm going to throw over, like this, to the two commentators, aka casters down there on set. Gregan, so beautiful to see you this morning, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, mate. So you're looking not too bad yourself as well. You know, give him a little compliment, keep him going in the morning. But it's great to be back, buddy. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited to see this season. We've got so many great teams. We're starting off with Excel versus Epsilon. But how are you on set?
I'm good, mate. Do you know what? Not a lot of people ask me that. It's one of those things that you always ask other people how they're doing. You never get it back. But yeah, I'm doing pretty well, mate. I'm very excited. Obviously, Season 2 about to get underway, and what a game we have first up. Excel versus Epsilon Esports, two big rosters here. A couple of changes on them, Gregan. Run us through them a little bit.
So Excel's the big one that everyone's going to be looking at this season, because last season they were a bit of a question mark. When's Niels and Zendis going to show up? Because they're very talented players. They had Lunation in, who was coming back from a long break of not playing. This time, they've got Pondex, who could possibly be one of the best players in the Gfinity Elite Series. So it's going to be a great addition to that team.
Yeah, I know. This is a player that you mentioned to me before while we were talking backstage a little bit. This is definitely a player to look out for in the Elite Series. Has suffered a little bit of nerves on the main stage. You mentioned this before, but has a lot of natural talent. Do you think, as the weeks go on, we're going to see a real star come out for this Excel team?
Oh, for sure. And do you know what? Having Pondex in there has boosted Niels and Zendis as well. They've got that confidence. They've got a star player on their team. And Niels, we were always talking about him being the goal scorer. It's a lot easier to score a goal when you've got great players around you. So he's going to improve as well. And I think Zendis has really started to nail down on his defense and being that third-man rotation when he's got such strong offensive players in Pondex and Niels with him.
Now, let's look at Epsilon as well. We've talked about Excel and what we're looking forward to. Some of the players on there, Epsilon, Flarky and Data. We've talked about the bromance. These guys, you know, they're finally playing together. Natural chemistry in Rocket League, such a vital thing. And they're adding in, as you say, this 1v1 player, Florus, coming in, a lot of natural talent, a lot of individual ability. Do you think it's going to take them some time to gel, or do you think that that bromance is going to sort of spread through this team very quickly?
I think it'll take a little bit of time, as it always does with the new roster, but I think Data and Flarky will hit off straight away because they have just played so much in the past. Before the last Elite Series, they were playing together in a lot of tournaments, and because of that, they wanted to come into the series playing together, but they didn't quite draft on the same rosters. And I think now they've really pushed it and they want to work together. And I think for Florus coming in, he's going to have to just let them do their thing and try and rotate around them, find the positions where they're not, and really cover all bases, because that's often why 1v1 players are so good.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Florus as well. You know, we've talked about him being a 1v1 player. How do you think he's going to fit in on this team? Do you think that he's going to be, as you say, filling those gaps, or do you think that Flarky and Data are going to give him a sort of role on this team and what they expect from him? How do you think he's going to fit in, and how quickly do you think he's going to fit in, more importantly?
I think as the weeks go on, he'll start taking on more of a role in offense, but to start with, he's going to feel a little less confident going up and working with them, and he's going to cover at the back a little bit more. And so if Florus finds himself upfield, he needs to really get a lot of boost and go back. But these guys, they're going to play a very tough game today, and I think Florus is going to struggle with the first tournament. So fair play to Florus for working so hard in the off-season, trying to get into a roster. He was a draft player on Endpoint, and now he's finding himself in a starter with Epsilon, and this series is huge for them.
Now, of course, this is going to be a best-of-5. If you're watching for the first time, of course, Rocket League playing best-of-5s here at the Elite Series in Season number 2. Do you expect a Game 5 today between these two teams? I know I'm asking you early for predictions here, but just remember, if it does go to that Game 5, there's going to be at least a point going to the losing side. So do you think we're going to see a Game 5? Obviously, it'll be a fantastic way to start the Elite Series off. Or do you think one of these teams is definitely the stronger suit?
Do you know what? I think this Elite Series in general, we're going to see a lot more Game 5s because Season 1, there were a lot of 3-0 sweeps. There were a lot of very one-sided games, whereas due to the roster changes, everything's balanced out a lot more. And so those teams who were a little bit weaker before are now higher up. So even Reason Gaming, who last season was struggling to get a win,
Very true,
they've got a lot of new talent in their team. XL have got a new team where they're going to be able to win a lot of games. So there's going to be best of fives, going to game fives a lot more frequently this season.
Now let's talk about the Elite Series a little bit more overall, just while we're waiting for this game to get underway in the background. We've got, as you say, a lot of changes. Some players moving, sort of core players from certain teams moving to different franchises. I want to talk a little bit about that Infused roster who was so impressive last year. They've kind of changed around a little bit. We see 2 of those players now moving over to Prophecy.
Yes, that's a big change.
How good's that match going to be when that comes around, Infused versus Prophecy? That's one to definitely look forward to.
A little bit of rivalry there. So Doomsy has stuck with Infuse. He is the captain there, and they brought up Radio, who was a sub, I think. He might have been a draft sub. He might have just been the 4th player that they picked up. He's now starting with McLovin. And McLovin's a great name.
I love that. You got to look out for that guy.
So he's a great community player, UK-based. So it's great to see more UK-based players coming in. But they lost the 2 UK players of iGnite and Sebadam over to Prophecy, as you're saying. Now, that's going to be interesting because Mummy Snow and iGnite played together in other competitions. They're very familiar with each other, and they were looking to bring Sebadam in originally. But we are starting the game now. This is match 1 of XL versus Epsilon.
Yeah, here we go then. Match number 1 of Season 2 of the Elite Series is underway. It's Excel Esports in the blue, Epsilon Esports in the orange, and the first attack of the game is going to go to Epsilon, but and XL do manage to get this one clear. Data's going to have a shot, but Neil's just going to get the block and push that one back upfield early on. Exactly what I expected to see at the very start of this one, Gregan. A little bit of ping-ponging back and forward. Obviously, these players getting used to that main stage again. Does that expect what you're expecting to see in these early games?
You expect that with any game of Rocket League. Just the first minute or so, people just feeling out their opposition, seeing where they're positioning, sending the ball long just to make sure they do not concede.
Ball will be popped up in the corner here. Data is going to be able to knock that one down and find the pass to Flores, but Zensus is going to clean that one up. Ooh, Pondex there. A little bit nerves, as you can see. He's going to be pushing this one forward, though. Flarky going to pick this one up.
Oh, good boost still.
Corner. Flores gets it away. Flores going to actually challenge that ball in the midfield here. Zensus is going to get the ball cleared once again. Zensus and Pondex both going for that double commit, but it almost paid off as we saw that ball just rolling towards the back post, but at this point, there's actually going to be a little problem here, so we'll get back straight into that one as soon as we can. Hey, it's match number 1 of Season 2.
I just remembered something.
We're going to work ourselves into this sort of thing.
This whole thing has just reminded me.
Go
the
on.
new update for Rocket League. We can now play on LAN.
Hey!
So these guys are going to be playing on 0 ping, which is really exciting for Rocket League in general. Just like on the broader spectrum of competitive video games, playing on a LAN is very much more useful because there's no connectivity issues in terms of the internet and slow refresh rates or anything. Everyone's playing on the exact same ping.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if some people are watching Rocket League and esports for the first time, when we talk about being on a LAN connection, I think you explained it pretty well. You're not relying on an internet connection or anything like that. All the PCs linked together. And, you know, instead of playing from one side of the country to the other, we just have a cable running between the PCs. It's as simple as that. You're literally playing from 2 feet away. But just while we are waiting for this game to get back underway, we're going to send it over to Ariel because she's about to speak to a man with a cone on his head.
He has indeed got a cone in his head. I'm with Michael here. Now, I recognise Michael because you were in our audience quite a lot last season, weren't you?
Yeah, I participated a lot in the audience. Like, I pretty much came for every single Elite Series for the whole of Season 1.
Yeah, round of applause. Why the cone?
Why not the cone?
Why not? I like that.
It's just what I'm known for. Like, I just wear this topper whilst I play in game. I just, the other day, I saw it on Amazon one day. I'm like, I have to buy this. So.
Now, you've got your clipboards are down here. Now, for those who didn't watch Season 1, you guys are very vocal in the audience, but not just vocal. You were writing signs, scribbling away like halfway through. So I know there's a lot of shout-outs for Shogun's Twitter page, which is an inside joke. I apparently follow like Shogun. What have you written anything so far on the boards?
Not as of yet, but I'll probably write something about Endpoint. Endpoint are just my boys. I just love them so much.
Was that the same last season, or you turned around because they did so well in Season 1?
They're just great guys overall. Like, I was mixing between Infused and it was just a few teams. But overall, it was just Endpoint. I'm just going for them all the way.
Do you think it makes a difference to them living together and training constantly that really helped them get to the top spot then last season?
Definitely. When you have such great connection between your own players, you can definitely excel in just much of your things that you do in your whole Rocket League career, I'd say.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you and put you on the spot. I know it's early days, and I know you're Endpoint all the way. Do you think Endpoint can do it for a second time running? Is that who you're rooting for? Do you think you think they can do it again?
Definitely, I definitely think that will be the case.
Well, we actually have a poll on our Twitter page at the moment. It's at Gfinity. Use the hashtag Elite Series. At the moment, Envious is still in the lead of who you think is who you want to win, not Endpoint, which is a bit of a surprise because Envious, they did all right last season, not too well. If you agree with Michael here and you think Endpoint can do it, then just get onto our Twitter page and vote. It's all going to be open for the next 3 hours. So at the end of today's Rocket League action, we'll give you the results.
Well, here we go. The game is back underway in the background, ladies and gentlemen. We wanted to get you hyped with just a little bit of a feeler in that first one, but the game is back underway. Of course, just to remind everybody, it is Excel Esports versus Epsilon Esports. This is actually a test, Gregan. I've been told in the back. I can't. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is the thing. You see, we've had one full start, and this is just a test game. I'm getting overexcited. I need to calm it down a little.
They were looking at us getting excited over what they thought was nothing.
Well, you know, it pretty much was, to be honest.
I mean, it's actually quite a good game. It's a shame that... no, they're just testing out, making sure it all works, because this, like we said, it's a new update with the LAN setup. They're not familiar with how it's all working, because everything's so new in Rocket League. They've got new arenas. They've got the new spectator mode, so we're going to be watching the game in a new mode called director mode.
Ooh,
and
fancy.
It allows you to see the game in a slightly better way. They basically optimized the auto cam to make it a little bit easier to watch. So hopefully... that'll be improving everyone for the Gfinity Elite Series when they're watching.
It's very true. And do you know what I want to hear as we go on through the weeks? A massive shout out to the Michael, by the way, like for your participation, standing up every single week. By the end of the Elite Series, I want Michael to have his own chant in the crowd. So, can we make that happen, guys? I think that can definitely happen at some point. I won't put you on stage I won't put you on the spot right now, but that can definitely happen. But let's talk a little bit about one of the disappointments of last season, Gregan. Team Envious, the boys in blue. Some of the players that are on that roster, huge players, international names, world champions, didn't perform. Obviously, they didn't play every single week, but they didn't quite perform. Are you expecting something different from them this year?
Yeah, they've got the same roster, the same 3 drafted players that they had last time. We are going into the game now. Excel Esports versus Epsilon. Hopefully.
It's the real thing, Gregan.
This is
the real game. Here we go. Game number 1 of Season 2, Take 3 is finally underway. I'm expecting to see a strappy start. These players are going to be just feeling their way into the Elite Series a little bit. It's going to be the new combination, of course, of Flarky and Data on this Epsilon lineup. All going to be up. Zensus is going to be challenging this one. This is the first shot. Ooh, the block comes in off the backboard there. Flores is going to be able to clear that one away. All going to be contested into midfield, but the possession going to be turned over to Epsilon as, again, the pressure put on high up the pitch. That ball just going to be running away. Nielskirk's going to recycle that one, push it back upfield. And again, Epsilon, they're going to be the ones on the attack. Here comes Data.
Oh, good pass. Right into the middle. Not quite able to finish it there by Flarky, but that kind of dangerous pass into the middle where you're relying on purely the shot alone as to whether it's a goal or not whether the defense can read it. That's so important in this standard Rocket League these days.
Ooh, double commit there. The ball's going to roll towards the goal, and the first goal of Season 2 goes to Excel Esports. It's going to be Nielskirk.
Who better than the striker himself, Nielskirk, known for his ability to put it in the net. And he finds a gap, threads the needle down to the bottom right side, and sends it home. And that puts Excel ahead 1-0 very early on. But that's got to be a good confidence booster. You said the first goal of the Elite Series.
No one can take that away from him. Always will be remembered. Nielskirk coming up for another one as well. Look at the double. His scoring tally from the start. And no, it's going to be Flarky. Can't keep it out. And it's going to be Pondex, the new player on Excel Esports. Welcome to the Elite Series, Pondex.
What an angle, just coming in, reading it off of the corner, sends it towards the net. He had a lot of net to aim at there. Flarky just late returning to the goal, but good vision by Pondex just to send it towards the empty goal.
So Excel coming out of the gates hot here. A team, while we talked to me backstage, Greg, and you're expecting quite a lot out of this season in the Elite Series. What do you think is going to separate them? Is it this addition of Pondex, or do you just think Nielskirk and Zensus have kind of stepped their game up in the offseason?
I think a mixture of having Pondex in your team. Oh,
the shot! Oh.
The shot. Yeah, and having Pondex in the team gives you that confidence that every player in the team is going to put their effort in, and it allows people like Niels to feel comfortable shooting and pushing himself upfield. But I think the main thing that's changed is the fact Zensus is very confident just to hold back a little bit more and allow his teammates to really excel upfield.
Oh, I love the pun, Greg, and it's good that you're on form, even though it's early in the morning. Zensus is going to be put under a little bit of pressure here. Lovely dribble and composure to get this one out of play, though. Plays it towards the corner. He's going to go and steal that boost in the corner. Here comes Pondex. He's looking for his second goal. Strikes the bar, though. Nielscook is going to recycle it, though. Back into the middle. Zenzus pushes it towards goal, but Flores going to get the save there. Ball back across. Constant pressure here coming in. Excel going to send this one long clear upfield, but challenge high up the pitch again by Epsilon. Ooh, a bit of a whiff there, but it's going to be played back upfield here.
Oh, good challenge by Data. Oh, Niels is going to have to block this. Such a good read off that backboard. It's so tough to change the angle of your car. And he does it again, just flying off that back wall, leveling out his car to what he is used to flying at, and then just aiming towards that ball perfectly to stop any kind of shot angle.
Yeah, and we were talking about the A's to Z's of Rocket League, and aerials are something that we talked about when we talk about mechanical ability, Greg, and just break that down a little bit more for some of the people who might be watching for the first time.
I mean, if you've never tried aerialing before, you won't quite appreciate how challenging it is, because you're essentially...
It's going to be a goal, Zenzus!
Zenzus!
Finds the back of the net. Excel Esports with 2 minutes on the clock find themselves up 3-0. Ball played off the backboard there by Pondex, and it's Zenzus who just has to finish up the dinner that was served up. Does it well. 3-0 now to Epsilon. Sorry, go back to your point, Greg, and the excitement was too much for me.
So aerials, when you're up in the air, you're essentially changing the angle of your car, and the only thing that is giving you height is the boost coming out the back.
Oh, the crossbar!
Crossbar down!
No! Double miss!
It's so hard to read flying in to do the follow-up shot, but yeah, just going to go away off that crossbar, and I think XL are going to be feeling very confident with their ability to take the ball up into the other half and get counter plays. That should have been a goal there, Data.
Should have been a goal. I was just expecting that ball to roll over the net. Maybe Data hasn't quite woken up yet. He's still waiting to sort of get all of his senses going together. Not Zensis. That didn't work as well as I thought it might, Greg. But you know, we got to try. You can't blame a guy for trying. Zensis is going to get the clearance towards the corner here. Flores trying to push this one back in. Another player committing. Nielscook's going to get the clearance here. Flores back on the rotation, though. He's going to push this one back towards the corner.
Just look at how much control he has. He's able to fly sideways.
Well, here comes Zenzus as well.
Follow-up touch. This is why Pondex is so dangerous. In the air, he has so much control. He's got that long, flat car, knows exactly the orientation of his car, and has just got so much control as to where the ball goes off of his vehicle.
Last minute of the game, then. Big things to do here for Epsilon if they want to get their way back into this game. They are down by 3-0, but there's going to be 3-1 now as Flarkey takes advantage of that ball in the air. Puts his nose on the end of that one and just pushes that one in the back of the net.
They're trying, just beats out Zenzus to that 1v1 situation. Flarkey tipping it towards the goal. I don't think it's going to be enough, as there is 2 more to try and make it back to level. But it's a start, isn't it? It's a start.
You've just cursed them. I mean, I just don't want to call it too early. We saw some of the things that happened last season. Team Infuse scoring 2 goals in the last 10 seconds or so in a game, so we know that it can be done, but it's all or nothing right now for Epsilon. They need to score in the next few moments if they want to give themselves a chance of at least maybe pushing this one to overtime, but 30 seconds remaining, as you can see. Shot comes in from Nielscook. Oh, it's just wide, Nielscook. Trying to keep the pressure on, and at this point, this is fine for the guys on Excel. As long as they're putting the pressure on the goal of Epsilon, it's going to be game over, and Pondex gets his second of the Elite Series.
He does indeed. Flarkey clearing that one out into the midfield. Both Flores and Data expecting another touch, as they should do, because that is the only way they're going to take it upfield and score a goal. You've got to do all or nothing tactics at this stage when you're that far down with such little time left. So XL are going to be taking game 1, and in pretty convincing fashion with their ability to score 4 goals.
4 goals. Nice way to start. Trying to find another goal as well. Epsilon, just a little consolation maybe, just to give them a little bit of confidence going into that next game. 4 seconds left. Make that 2 seconds. XL Esports are going to take game number 1 as soon as this ball's hit the floor, and there it is. XL Esports take the first game of the Elite Series, Gregan.
That's impressive for them, and it's also a completely different storyline to last season when we saw them barely getting 1 or 2 match wins. And now they're here, coming in as one of the favourites for this season. Not just a contender, but one of the favourites alongside teams like Method and potentially Endpoint as well, the previous winners.
Well, let's have a look at Excel a little bit. You can see the guys on your screen there, of course. Excel, Pondex, the new player, Nielscook, and Zentus returning from last season. Now let's talk a little bit about that particular game as we have the replays coming in here, Greg. And One thing with a new lineup that always you need to do, if you can score early as a lineup at a live event, that does so much for not only confidence, but just settling those nerves.
Oh yeah, because during that first minute, you're feeling nervous, and then when that goal goes in, everything just disappears. It's suddenly Rocket League again. You know what you're doing. You remember how the game works. And these guys start to look so much more confident. The aerials is where you tend to see nervous players not playing as well as they could. And I think the fact that XL were winning a lot of those aerial challenges, like that one there, for example, that is a sign that they're feeling a little bit more confident than the opposition in Epsilon.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. It seems like a lot of those opportunities did come from those 50-50 situations where they're challenging the ball in the air and they just managed to get the noses ahead in those little battles. So shout outs to XL, a strong start from them. Now let's talk a little about Epsilon, a little bit about Epsilon. Not the strongest showing in that game, number one. Of course, it is a best of 5, however, so this is not over yet. What went wrong for them there? Do you think it was just a little bit of getting used to the stage again, not quite reading the game? Or was there something else going on there that we didn't quite catch?
They were often left with not enough people back. Now, obviously, you don't want to retreat and go on the back foot the whole time, but so often, if one player got beaten, that was it. There needs to be a lot more safety net. So if you have someone going out for an aerial challenge, there needs to be someone expecting it to potentially be lost, and also someone expecting it to potentially be won. There's 3 players. You have to have people covering and people also prepared if you do win. And I think that was just a little bit of a overcommitment. Because essentially it is. If you're not covering back, you're allowing yourself to be shot in the foot if it gets past.
Well, we're about to get underway with game number 2 here. Of course, if you are just joining us, it's the boys in orange and black, Team Excel, who took that first game 1-0. The game is getting underway in the background. You can see it on your screens at home. We can see both of the teams as well. Greg, are you expecting a closer game in this second match now that both these teams have got that first one out of the way, or are we expecting much of the same in this one?
I would like to hope that it gets closer because I really want Epsilon to improve throughout the Elite Series, but I still think it's early days for them. I think they've got a long way to go before they quite get to XL standard. But you never know because it's a stage environment. Pondex is quite new to this stage. He's had a few live events, whereas Niels Zen's very familiar with it, and so are Flarky and Data. So we'll see how Florus, the new player, and Pondex, the new player, can adapt.
Data's going to pass this one in field to Florus. Good pass there, didn't quite manage to connect though. Data going to get the block on this one. Pondex pushing this one back. Zen's trying to challenge for it. Demo does come in as well.
Oh, there's a shot.
There's a shot. Oh, what a start here. It's going to be the man himself, the man we talked about before this series. It's Flarky who gets a goal on the board here. Massive overcommitment there from Epsilon. He just stole in and just scooped that one up.
But you know what it was? It was Data and Flarky, that synergy coming out. Data just drops it down, knowing his teammate Flarky has speed near him and can go onto that ball and send it towards the net. And Niels couldn't quite read that situation, so found himself creeping forward and left himself vulnerable behind. So that is going to put Epsilon ahead. And that's going to be another shot towards the net.
Oh, but it's going to be tied up. Pondex manages to get one back on the board here and tie this game up. A short-lived lead here for Epsilon Esports. And again, just one of those challenges, just beating that player to the ball. And the rotation from the Epsilon guys not looking too hot there.
Yeah, got a lot of power from where he was there, Pondex. Just off of the wall, turns his car in a little bit of aerial just before he hits it to make sure he gets the cleanest touch possible and sends it the length of the pitch. Threading the needle. We keep talking about threading the needle, but they have such good vision on XL. They are able to see those open nets as Data completely answers what we were talking about in the first minute. That's the 3rd goal.
This second game is starting out like a goal fest, ladies and gentlemen. 2-1 to Epsilon Esports. They are taking it in turns to hit the back of the net, and it's the big man, Data. He's enormous, isn't he? He actually is. If you haven't seen Data, next time we see him on camera, just keep an eye out. The guy is massive.
He's not just tall, he's a solid unit.
He's a big old boy, as we would say from where I come from. But he's going to get a goal on the board here. Not just a big man in real life, but a big performance in game is what he needs to produce here for Epsilon. They're up 2-1 in the game as we do enter the 4th minute on that game clock. On the midfield at the moment, push back upfield. It's going to be Florus who wins that 50-50 engagement. Florus brings that one down as well. Zentis is going to be an important challenge. Does manage to get a solid connection on the ball. Niels going to be back on the rotation and just send that one forward. Looks for that pass to Pondex. Demo does come in. Going to be back off the backboard here. Important touch here from Pondex once again, who manages to just quell that danger. But the longer that this pressure stays on, the more difficult it's going to be for the boys in blue to defend it, as they're going to be low on boost.
It's so smart by Pondex. He sent it back to his own back corner, knew that he could get up the wall and get another touch before anyone else. And those kind of touches, they draw players up because they think, oh, he's made a mistouch into his own corner. But Pondex had full control over the situation, had a great vision into the future, and controlled that ball beautifully.
Ball going to be played back. Oh! With the shot. Oh, it hits the crossbar and the post.
Flarky saving it though, and that's going to be a pinch.
Flarky, no! From one end to the other, the bar and the post.
That's
saving Excel. And then look at this, Zensus manages to get the pinch there. Pondex can't quite get back, and oh my word, it's going to be a 2-goal lead now. Epsilon Esports looking good in game number 2.
Flarky's save there was unbelievable. Squeezing that out with the crossbar, bounces out off the post, and the scramble of Zensus towards that ball allowed Flores the opportunity to pinch it. And for those of you who do not know, if you 2 cars squeeze the ball between them, you get a huge shooting shot that goes very fast, and it was not expected in the XL defense, and that allowed the goal to go through.
Epsilon Esports.
Oh, they've done it! They've done the same thing!
Zensus! History repeats itself in the same game. It's going to be 3-2 now. This is an absolute goal fest, Greg, in here. Look at this. Oh, the touch. And the block comes in.
That deliberately. That is so smart by Zensus. Just rather than shooting towards the net with a weak shot, he recognizes Flores flopping in the air, hits the ball at him, right at his nose, and sends it towards the net. Such good vision by Zensus there.
Vision, prediction, and execution, all of which pulled off by Zensus here. He pulls it back to a 1-goal game. That ball's going to be loose on the goal line here. Oh, the Data manages to get the clearance in. Oh, Flarky with a big save there as well. Play back into the middle. Niels Cook with the shot. 2 players commit for that one. Do get the save here for Epsilon. Ball popped back into the middle here. Flores is going to knock that one down for Data. That was an important win there from Data as he saw that player arriving. And now all of the pressure seems to be on that Epsilon goal.
Yeah, well, the ball has not left the Epsilon half for about a minute here. Every time it gets cleared, it just gets sent straight back in. And as time goes on, they're losing boost. More boost as time.
Oh, no!
He's always got it under control, don't you worry.
He likes making my heart go, but he's one of the... I've already learned that Pondex in his first game here, he always has things under control.
Yeah, he's always got a vision. Not just what the next touch is going to do, but if he leaves it, where it's going to go, where the space is, and he'll hit it towards that space. Just there, he had a complete read on the opposition coming in for the challenge, which allowed him to win it. So watch out for that with Pondex. He's a very smart player, always watching his opposition.
Pondex going to be up here, but he can't do anything about a wild Data who appears, the big man.
I cursed him.
I'm sorry, Greg. I was almost wanting it to happen. You know, like
it was believable.
I was almost wanting it to happen. Sometimes you can be a little bit too calm, and at that point, unfortunately for Pondex, a little bit too calm. Data put the pressure on, and he extends the lead back to 2 goals here. 1 minute 10 left on the clock.
It's funny, just after I said that about Pondex, he's made a few unusual decisions.
Overconfidence, maybe.
Perhaps this caster curse thing isn't just a myth.
Ball popped up here. Blocky trying to get the shot here, but oh, Pondex! Fantastic save on the line, manages to keep this a 2-goal game with just 50 seconds left on the clock, Gregan. Excel are going to have to score now. They're going to have to score soon if they want to get back into it. Data's going to push this one back upfield here for Epsilon. Frost gets the touch on towards the corner. Plays this one back inside. It's a beautiful pass. Data going to pass it back to Flores again.
Oh, Data! He's incredible! No way has Data just produced that goal. That's insane.
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The ball played back in, and Data swings around like a gazelle to finish that one off. 5-2. A 3-goal difference now. Greg, and this is going to be tied up.
When most people would just go, I better get back quick, I better get back quick. Data goes, ooh, I got a shot now. I mean, obviously they're in a great situation because they're now 4 goals ahead. They're almost guaranteed the win, but why not get a few beautiful goals to finish it off?
Yeah, I just want to I've always wanted to use this cliche in casting, but now I can.
Go
Data, great touch for a big man. There it is, 6-2, Epsilon Esports. As you say, Excel right now, they pretty much know the gig's up as far as Game 2 is concerned. You're going to see a lot of potential Epsilon little bonus goals going in here as they obviously try and just get a few goals on the board here as Excel are going to be under pressure. Zensus going to push this one forward. 10 seconds or so left on the clock. Flarky brings it down.
Wasting time.
Exactly. All he has to do now, run this clock down, keep that ball on the floor. 1 second left. And there we go. Epsilon are going to tie up the series at 1-1.
How about that? We were not expecting that at all. I mean, some people were coming into this thinking, XL, completely different team. We're expecting them to be a bit more dominant. But then we also had the whole discussion of everything's going to be a lot closer this season because all the teams are a lot more balanced. And I think this is a prime example of the latter there, that everything is going to be a lot closer because now both teams are 1 game away from guareeing a point. Because if they get 2 game wins, then they're going to guarantee either a game 5 or a match win. And that's huge, because that barely happened last season.
Exactly, and I mean, we sort of alluded to a game 5 at the start. You know, we always want to see game 5s. We want to see as much Rocket League as possible, but I mean, what a way to start the Elite Series. And Data, you beautiful man, look at that finish.
I mean, that was beautiful as well from Flarky. Just sending it off the wall, following it up himself.
Yeah. It's one of those, you know when you score a great goal, but your mate just scored one a little bit better beforehand, so it's kind of like, yeah, mine wasn't quite as good, but yeah, well done. But, you know, look at this. Data, there he is, the big man himself, licking those lips, feeling good right now. And there we have the guys in the crowd enjoying it as well. Good to see them all out today, Gregan. Lovely to have them back in the Elite at the Gfinity Arena.
Do you know what I wonder? Is if we ever get a Swedish person in the crowd, because there's so many Swedish players. And who would they support? Because you got Zenzus on the side of XL, Swedish.
Yep.
Flarky Data, both Swedish. Cheerio, Swedish. Radio, Swedish. It's almost like we're in Sweden and playing on the local ground.
You know when someone says Swedish so much that I totally lost meaning? You were just going Swedish, Swedish, Swedish. But now, anyway, now that I got a little bit sidetracked there, and that's a little insight into the workings of my brain, Game 3 is about to get underway. Now that we're tied up at 1-1, Greg, and this really is a huge, huge game in the series, this could be the swing game.
I thought Stumpy was crazy when he thought Epsilon were going to win. But you know,
No, just stop there. I would have agreed with you. I know that Stumpy's crazy. It's fine. I mean...
He's gone for the unusual decision in the hope that he gets it right one day so that he can prove us all wrong. But this time, it's actually looking realistic. That wasn't just a win by Epsilon. It was a dominating win. Game 1, XL, dominating win. Game 2, Epsilon, looking very strong. It's going to go either way now. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think one team is just going to take it away, open up the floodgates.
Prepare for the 0-0. As the caster curse, as we've already learned, is a real thing. Niels Cook is who we're going to start this one off from his point of view. He's going to be rotating back here, just grabbing that boost. Going to get a little touch on that one, but the ball's going to be loose here, and it's going to be Data. The big man comes in once again. And Epsilon Esports take the lead early on. Once again, an early goal for them. Flarky with the pass off the backboard, and who else but Data? The bromance linking up. And it's going to be 1-0 to Epsilon.
Great short wall pass there. Do you know what the problem there was? Niels was underneath that ball. He really needed a doink. I'm sure Cole and Stumpy were sitting there going, he just doinked that one away. A doink is where you're sitting underneath the ball, jump up as it's landing on top of you, pop it away, but within 5 seconds, we see a goal going the other way.
These two teams like to score goals. It's all I can say at the moment. Tied up at 1-1 now. Excel Esports and Epsilon Esports answering back, as you say, within the next sort of 10 seconds or so. The kickoff going to be contested by both players here. Niels Cook's going to come in. Flarky going to get this one clear. Long ball upfield here from Pondex. No one back in goal.
What is going on?
Pondex is going to put Excel Esports in the lead, and you've just almost dropped to your knees there, Greg, and head in hands. What's happened there?
I mean, the ball is going towards your opposition. You've got to expect a shot. Flores there just trailing forward, expecting someone to be coming behind him, but the whole play was just too fast for their rotation to keep up, so no one was going back towards net as Flores moved up. And that's where these teams are getting used to their team rhythm. They need to know when the player is coming behind them, in towards the net. And once they start getting used to that, they feel a lot more confident pushing up.
Yes, definitely we saw something that was evident last season. The more the weeks went on, the more comfortable those teams got with their rotations, how they wanted to play with each other. We saw a lot of games getting a lot closer. We saw, obviously, that finally Reason getting that win on the board after their difficult start.
What a shot on Flarky! No way, these guys are just producing highlight after highlight. Flarky, rather than going towards the net, says, I'm going to go high because I can find an angle up there somehow. Crossbar down from that height is insane.
Geometry, protractors, all of that, degrees, that's insane. That was an insane finish.
Insane. There's one word, insane.
Insane from Flarky. These guys are turning it on right now. In this game number 1, what a better way to start. I can't think of one, can you? Than this series that we're seeing so far? Goals galore.
I was going to say there could be more goals, but there really couldn't.
No, we've only got a certain amount of time, Greg. We can only fit so many in. Ball going to be pushed upfield here. Excel going to be on the defensive here. Ball pushed out towards the corner. Pondex going to miss that one. Census pushes this one forward. Flores pushes this one back up. And I know we're only in game 3, Gregan, but we've actually already seen 17 goals in this series.
17. I think that's more goals than we saw some of the teams score in the whole of the last Elite Series. In fact, I think that's more than XL scored in the whole of the last Elite Series. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know that for a fact, but it wouldn't surprise me.
you can't just make statements up. Ball in field here. Flarky pushes this one towards the goal. Flores trying to get a touch to just redirect this one past Niels Cook, but Niels Cook Read it well. He's going to be up as well as Zentus here. Just feathering that boost, looking to get the double tap, the backboard, but Niels Cook, once again, cleaning up here. Pondex looks...
Oh, what a pass.
Inside. Can he finish? No, Data read that one beautifully. And we saw Flarky as well reading that one, managing to put the pressure on. Niels Cook going to win that one as well. Pushes the ball towards that Epsilon goal. Zentus pops it back up, looking for Pondex, who was arriving late. Data going to get the long...
That's a breakaway. What are you doing? You've just saved that ball. That was a breakaway free shot, and he hit it to the side. That could have put them in the lead. That could have won them the game.
Little mistakes and little moments of genius is what this series has produced so far. Zentus is going to get the clear there. Demo does come in, so it's going to be... should be an easy defensive clear here for the guys on Excel. They do manage to get this one away. Nice little dribble. Pondex is going to be able to get to this one first, potentially. Data does a great job, though. Niels Cook couldn't quite get the connection he was looking for, but sends it back to his corner just to keep that pressure on. Zentus pops this one back across field. Flarky now. He's going to set himself up for a shot. Niels Cook does make the save, however. Good power on that shot there, but just not quite the accuracy.
Yeah, there was always someone covering that. It was the second wall of defense, as I was saying. Two people going for a challenge, you always have someone behind just in case they cleanly win it. Obviously, there's some situations where you don't need to, but that was a prime example of where Niels read the game very well.
Challenge there from Pondex. Pondex really has been solid so far. We did see that one little mistake, but it seems the majority of the decisions he's making seem to be good ones for his team. He's either winning the ball, making good contact, or he's back on that rotation where he needs to be.
Oh, he's upfield. That's where Pondex is dangerous. We'll see that throughout the Elite Series. When he's upfield, looking for that cherry picker, the redirect, he somehow produces angles that no one could ever even do before. Obviously, as the game is developing, more people are capable of them, but he was one of the masters originally. Flores, what a read.
Great save from him. Definitely something to keep an eye out though for. As you say, in the Elite Series, all these players have different characteristics in how they play. Different play styles that make them the players they are. Zentus going to be up for this one. Data once again with the clearance. Niels Cook pushes it back in though.
Free net.
Oh, and Zentus couldn't quite readjust to get the connection he was looking for on this one. Back off the backboard.
Oh, the demo from Pondex!
Pondex with the demo and then finds himself a goal in the last 30 seconds. He's going to put Excel Esports into the lead.
Turning back himself after blowing up one of the keepers. Flores not finding himself in a comfortable position underneath that ball, not able to get towards it for the challenge, had to predict the angle, but Pondex knew where he was going, sent it around him, sent it towards the net, and that could secure the game as 3-2 with 30 seconds left. In most game situations would be a game secure, but in these two, you never know.
You never know. Niels Cook gets the clearance here. Epsilon Esports trying to put on the pressure as we get towards the end of this game. Oh, it's going to be Niels Cook who pushes this towards goal. Data's going to be back though. He knows the last thing they can afford to do is concede another one because that would be GG. Demo does come in. 6 seconds left.
It's high.
Excel. They're just going to pop this one down. Zentus be trying to push this one.
Still alive.
Flores keeping it alive. The ball might strike the floor. No, Pondex is going to put it down. And it's going to be Excel Esports who take the lead in the series 2-1 now. But after those first two games, blowout game 1, blowout game 2. These teams starting to feel each other out. Much closer game 3.
But still a lot of goals. 5 goals in that game. 3-2 the score. And there were some beautiful ones again. These guys are very good at scoring. Perhaps need to improve their defense, if that's the case, if there's a lot of goals.
Little tip there for you.
I mean, you'd assume if there's a lot of goals that defense might be part of the issue. But yeah, it was just a lot of pressure. Teams keeping that ball down in their half of the opposition and just sending it towards that. A few kickoff goals, though. So that's something that these players will need to watch and see how they could have improved it. But yeah, very close right down to the final moments.
Yeah, you can almost see some players, as we say, these are new lineups, you know, some of these players have played together before, but as a 3, some changes have been made. And you can kind of see a couple of players second guessing what decisions they're making in these games.
Well, that was Flarky. I thought that was Flores on the goal line. That's going to be confusing.
Flarky, Flores?
Yeah. Yes. When you look at those two names, same length, both begin with FL.
We'll get it right.
We'll get it eventually.
I mean, it's kind of a job. You know, we'll do our best. We can't promise anything, though. All we can promise in this series, though, is goals, Greg. And I've lost count. I know we were 17 at some point in that game. I think we saw another 2. So, what, 19 goals in 3 games?
A lot. Yeah, a lot of goals.
A lot of goals. We'll stick with a lot. It's more accurate. But moving into game 4 now, we're seeing these two teams start to feel each other out a little bit. Obviously, now we have one of the teams squeaking into lead in Excel. Epsilon. Do you feel like they can... I mean, this is an obvious question.
Genuinely
do you feel like they can come back? Or do you feel like Excel are just going to kind of pull their way defensively tighten up a little bit as we enter this game number 4. If Excel do that, do you think that they can close this series out right
It's very possible we're going to a game 5, but one thing is for sure is that Excel are guaranteed their first point of the Elite Series. Because if it goes to game 5, they get 1 point for coming second, but this is looking strong for them as they're going for the match win.
Popcorn pops out because Pondex is popping one in the back of the net as well. Empty net here once again. Epsilon's defense questionable, I think is the best adjective I can use there. Was that an adjective? Noun? Adjective? I'm not good at English. Excel going to take the lead in the first 5 seconds. Yeah, Cole loves his English.
He knows words.
Pondex going to be back here. Ball played across here. Nice pass across to Zentis, but look at this Data putting the pressure on. Ball was available there for a second if someone could have read that one, but it's going to be Excel. We get the clearance back upfield. Data. Zentis wins this one. Finds the pass out wide to his teammate there.
Interesting. Flores took both back corner boosts. Now, he did deny one of the opposition of boost, but I think it might potentially be denying his teammates because he's used to 1v1s, where it's only you and your opposition. So you just take every boost you can. Whereas in 3s, you do have to leave a lot more just to make sure your teammates can get boost, even if it means your opposition are able to steal one every now and again.
Part of the family now on this team. Got to leave something for your brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? Pondex going to be up. Flarky passes this one across. Shot does going to come in, but Data's going to be there to get the block on that one. Ball redirected off that back ball. Niels Cook going to be back here. Should be able to just push this one away. Nice little touch there to take it over that player. Zentis does get the long clearance upfield, back into midfield. Pondex going to be trying to keep the... Oh, he hit Data! He's going to put the one in and tie it up. I was going to say that attack, that pressure, that almost stifling pressure coming in there from the guys on Epsilon.
Nice pass by Flores.
As you say, nice pass from Flores, and Data finishes.
Just getting on the inside of that ball, sending it like sideways across the pitch, rather than going for that backboard, which is very predictable. You notice Pondex is finding himself on the backboard a lot. Instead, he's recognized there's a gap in the midfield, send it hard across, and Data comes and intercepts it for the shot, and very well done by him. So it's 1-1 now. And it's looking close as we were hoping. Epsilon certainly surprising me with how good they're looking here against a strong XL lineup.
Ooh, Flarky had a 1v1 opportunity there. Data's going to be having the shot though. Zentis
what a
with
save.
Pushes that one onto the crossbar.
Breakaway.
Now the potential breakaway. Flarky can't get back in time. It's going to be Pondex who puts Excel into the lead, and all the pressure from Epsilon. The tables were turned. Long clearance coming in from Pondex. Incredible power on the shot.
How he managed to get such power, such accuracy from the angle he had on that ball, used a little bit of power slide to line himself up with it, but then rather than dodging through the ball, he dodged across it because that was where his car was lined up. Just such good awareness of his vehicle and how it reacts with that ball when close to it. So Pondex, certainly a star player to watch out for this season.
Yeah, definitely add into this lineup. Ooh, little touch there. It's going to take Flarky out of the game, but Data, his brother in arms, is there to help him out. Play back into midfield. It's Pondex. He's going to be trying to find another one, and it is going to be Pondex.
Hat-trick for Pondex.
3 of the best here from Pondex. Let's have another look at this one. He gets up beautifully for the aerial. As you say, just mechanically just rearranging his car in the air.
Swish and
get
flick.
that touch.
A swish and flick. That air roll, the final moments, just to turn his car so that he gets the most length of his car behind the ball. It gives you a little bit more power, especially with that Batmobile, the longer car. If you line it all up nicely, it really sends it towards the net fast, and you notice it didn't give the goalie enough time to react. So Pondex getting his 3rd goal, and that could be what XL need to go through this game and win it cleanly, not giving a single point away to the opposition.
Niels Cook going to push this one upfield. Flarky going to be back to Data. Oh, but look at this, Pondex. Oh, he sniffed danger there. He was trying to steal in there.
Oh, they're going for the passing plays. It's nice. A little bit too slow. Didn't allow for a dangerous shot to come in, but it's nice that they're looking for those back and forth. Draw players in. Get them out of position.
Talking about being out of position, Niels Cook, in the meantime, is going to put another one on the board here as he reads that one nicely off the wall. Data whiffs that clearance, and it's going to be converted by Niels Cook. 4-1 now to XL. These guys are starting to roll a little bit, and not only that, I think they're looking a little bit more solid on the defensive side of things as well.
I can agree there, yeah, their rotation's coming back in nicely. That'll be a little bit the stage nerves. They won't be used to playing in this environment, so they might be a little bit hasty towards the ball. But the biggest difference, these guys all play at the highest level. When they're comfortable, they do not miss the ball. And when on this stage, that might come into their gameplay a little bit. They might have to accept that they're going to miss the occasional ball, because that's been coming out from Epsilon this game. And that's where you've got to be prepared for that as a slightly different environment.
Poundex realizes that all the guys on Excel have to do right now is just see this game out. It's all up to Epsilon to make the plays. Going to pop this one up. Niels Cook's going to get the clearance away as well. They're going to be in to recycle that one, push it back upfield. Oh, that corner boost was going to be stolen there.
Poundex dodged the demo as well.
By Poundex. Flarky with the shot. Poundex to once again just hover upfield, waiting for that breakaway. And look at this, it's going to be Poundex who's going to be trying to read this one off the backboard, but no. Denied there by that Epsilon player. As we approach that last minute of the game, Data going to push this one upfield. We can see Niels Cook trying to read that one. Poundex going to be back. This time doing some defensive work, so not just offensive work coming in from that man. Also showing some responsibility as well.
Yeah, he got a hat-trick and a saviour medal, meaning he's got 3 goals and 3 saves this game alone. So important. Those 2 factors, obviously there's other things in the midfield that you don't get points for, but they're the real game-changing moments, those saves and shots.
30 seconds on the clock. Of course, Excel, all they need to do is see this game out, and they are going to take the win here. 3-1. Epsilon Esports down by 3 goals with just 20 seconds left. It's looking pretty dire for them at the moment. Poundex is going to be challenging this one. Niels Cook pops it back down. Flarky going to get the clearance. But with just 10 seconds left on the clock, it's going to be Poundex. Who else? The Pound X Factor puts another one in for his team. The new player here, 5-1 now for Excel Esports. And this guy, he's feeling right at home here at the Elite Series.
Perhaps he's going to be going for that golden boot this season. If his team's going to do well, then they're going to get a lot of goals. And if he's the main goal scorer for their team, we saw it with Method. They scored a lot of goals. All 3 of them were high up on that leaderboard. Excel, I think, are going to be doing that this season. They are a very aggressive team, and they are going to be winning match 1 of the Gfinity Elite Series. 3-1 to Excel Esports.
Strong start from Excel Esports then. Poundex, the man himself, feeling very, very comfortable on that main stage, as you can see there. Repping that Excel jersey.
Doesn't know where to go, he's not used to the stage.
It's confused, confusion. We don't know what's going on. Somebody needs to find that man a Sherpa. But a strong start there from Excel Esports, taking down Epsilon. But Epsilon with a strong fight in those first 3 games or so, but it just seemed like Excel got a little bit more comfortable towards the end of that one, and they really showed their class. Yeah,
fair play to them. They settled in, and they started scoring more goals, whilst also stopping goals. That was the key factor to it. Their defense really tightened up. And we did see Poundex, the man of that final game there, getting 4 goals to his name. But Data did show some signs of some brilliance in the game. Data and Flarky went together. Forest did pretty well, and that's a great performance for them. They can go forward and know they're going to be strong in the Elite Series.
Yeah, as we previously mentioned, yes, Excel won that. One of the teams we were looking to sort of step up and maybe be in that sort of championship conversation as we go through the weeks, but Epsilon definitely signs there that they are going to be a team to contend with. I think it's just a case of giving them a little bit more time and just having to gel.
Yeah, get them a chance to settle in. It's 7 weeks, maybe even more if they get through. They've just got to have a bit of experience, especially for Flores. That's his first time on the stage. He did incredibly well. A young player, 17, got the guidance of Data and Flarky with him, so I'm sure he'll get better week on week.
Well, that's going to be it for game number 1. Of course, Excel Esports are going to take that one, but we're going to throw it over to Ariel because she's got someone she's going to have a chat with.
I know, they've let me loose up here in the players' stations. It's very exciting. And Poundex, we were just talking to you. I think there was like 17 goals already scored by the second match. You were a bit nervous before, safe to say that you just owned it now.
Yeah, we were just having a laugh. I mean, we were missing every other ball, to be honest. We were just laughing, and it turned out great anyway. Yeah,
so this is a good start for you guys. This is what we wanted. You've made your mark. Is this how we're going to go through for the rest of the competition?
Yeah, that's what we will like to do, like winning everything.
Okay. How is it between you guys up here in terms of communication, nerves? Did they all kind of sync? Did you settle really quickly?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Niels Cook, I always come to you. If you're too tall, though, look at this. I'm going to have to stand on my tippy toes. Are you glad that I'm back shoving a microphone in your face?
Yeah, it's great. No, it's like, having microphones shoved up in my face is great. Yeah. Really good.
Well, excellent start. Well done, guys. I'm really glad that you've won the first match with so many goals as well. We'll go back to Tom.
Thank you very much, Ariel. Throwing a microphone in Niels Cook's face. He doesn't mind it, and I bet he doesn't mind the fact that he's off to a winning start, which is something that Excel didn't do enough of in Season 1. But yabba dabba do, we are off to a flying start. Gentlemen, how did you see that match?
That was filled with goals. There was 24 goals in total then, which is absolutely insane. For our inaugural game of Season 2, that is huge. It's massive.
That's a big average to keep up with.
Big average. What is the average over 4 games?
It's 6 goals a game.
Can I get a number crunch on that real quick? We might come back with that one now.
I don't have an earpiece.
But gentlemen, when you think about this, when you look at how well Excel played, I mean, Pondex, he knows his way around a pitch on Rocket League, but not around the arena. I don't know if you caught that. He was struggling a little bit, but he will get to know this arena. And with a performance like that, he's going to be someone to look out for other teams.
He was pretty unstoppable there. Was it four goals to himself? Yeah. In the last game? At this level, you rarely get 4 goals for a team, let alone for one player. He had his 2 teammates backing him up as well, but Pondex really was the difference. You saw throughout, he'd hit the ball on the ceiling and just aerial into it for a ceiling hit like it was nothing. You know, it's something that everyone here is able to do, but the consistency in which he does it is just incredible to watch.
Yeah. Let's talk about Epsilon. We did note that the bromance was back again, Flaki and Data, but we did highlight that Flores normally does 1v1. That's what Cole said, Stumpy. Do you feel like that's a reason why those mistakes were coming in for Epsilon? They were giving away too many easy goals?
I mean, in the earlier games you saw, or even towards the later games actually, there was a lot of runaway goals. Like, the third man came up, I think, a bit further than they should have done a lot of the time, and they just didn't seem to learn from that mistake. So any time that there was a runaway ball, instead of having someone there easily clear it up around the corner, they all had to rush back, and that just leads, like we saw, to a loss in the end. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Forecasting, going forward from here, Excel will look very confident. Quick word on both of the teams. Epsilon, where do they go from here, and where do Excel go from here?
Epsilon's second game was really, really good. They didn't just beat Excel, they really, really thrashed them. 6-2, they beat them. So if they can take that form into more of the games, they're going to do absolutely fine this season. I believe that Excel are going to be a very strong team for the rest of this season. So to lose to them isn't a disaster at all for Epsilon. I think they're going to be fine. They just need to stop the overcommits, as Stumpy said. The amount of goals they conceded where there wasn't a goalkeeper at all, not great. Yeah. If they fix that, they'll be pretty good.
And where do Excel, where do they go from here? There's a final point.
I think they're just going to keep going up.
Oh. The only way is up.
Only way is up.
Oh, what a song. Right then, tell you what, something new for Season 2 is a little bit of analysis with a whole screen. This is so exciting. Niels Cook, no microphone in his face, but Gregan, take it away, sir. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, so we've got Niels of Excel. They're very complimentary of your team there. How do you feel that you've got Pondex in your roster now and everyone is expecting you to do well?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, all the pressure is on him, so I can just sit in the back and let him score all the goals. It's
exactly, because you used to be the goal scorer in your team, right? That used to be your thing. You were always very good at sending it towards the net.
Yeah, I only score if we're behind or if I really have to, and otherwise I just, sit in the back and let Pond do his thing. Then hits the ball occasionally as well, then we'll do fine, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got some gameplay of you playing.
Oh, shit.
It's sorry for that. So we can see here.
Yeah, that's a bump
this is you on camera.
Yeah.
And you're getting bumped all over the place.
Yeah.
But then there, Pondex, just sending it long. What's the kind of mindset when you see your teammates sending it long? Do you tend to have a kind of team mentality of who pushes up more than other people?
Yeah, this was totally planned, all the bumps before. It was like, and then, of course, the laughing really helps with the communication as well.
So you're trying to put across that you're very reactive. You don't really have like team strategy too much. You just kind of have fun. And
well, usually we do have a sort of strategy, but now we were just laughing half of the time. So
having fun's the key to it there. But every time Pondex scores, I want to know from your point of view, because obviously you're watching it, you're in game, and you kind of see it go in. Do you know he's going to score before it happens?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Just hit the ball somewhere in the front, and then I can see Pond flying, and then it's in the net.
And that was a tough situation. You're on the back foot here for a little bit. But what do you think of this new mechanic in the game? You can see there the invisible goalposts. So you can
I love it.
You love it. So you can sit inside the goal now, and you can see through those goalposts.
Yeah, I can sit even further in the back. It's great.
Sit further back. And the last thing I'm going to ask a little bit about the team strategy in terms of boost and everything. If you were to go towards boost and it was you against Pondex, would you race to the boost or would you let him take it?
No, I'll take the boost.
So you're all equal in terms of boost. If Zenzus was going to the boost, would you?
Yeah, of course.
You wouldn't steal it from you'd steal it from your teammates as priority for yourself.
Of course.
So it's all about you as individuals.
Yeah, I mean, I just need the boost, so yeah.
I like that. I like that mindset. So thank you very much. Your insight, I don't know if it was as useful as, as we were hoping, but you can see it now as a player, you just have fun, and that's the key thing there. So Tom, back to you. I want to hear what you think of that.
Thank you very much, Greg, and probably hopefully get a less tall player to stand on the other side of you, but very insightful. When he needs a boost, he will have a boost. Let's get a quick word from Ariel, one of the losing team members.
Yes, I'm up here at the top of the arena with Flores, who's just had his first live experience here in Gfinity. How was it? Because you were just talking about the pressure between playing, well, the experience of playing at home between playing here is very different, right?
Yeah, it's very different. It was quite nerve-wracking, but exciting, nevertheless. So.
And also, Insider tells me that we did have you down as 17, but you don't turn 17 until tomorrow. It's his birthday tomorrow. So how does it feel to be 16 making a debut in the Gfinity arena?
Yeah, it feels good to get in early and get all this LAN experience in early. So hopefully that'll be a good future for me.
And how are we going to pick ourselves up from this?
A lot of training, basically, a lot of practice. We know exactly what we need to fix is the overcommits. And we're not too upset because Excel's a good team, so it's not a bad team to lose to.
Excellent. Well, I like that focus. A happy birthday to you for tomorrow. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much. Ariel, hopefully Flores will get that win for his birthday celebration next week. That sounded a bit harsh. I didn't mean it like that, but you know what I meant. Listen, we'll take a quick, short break now, but when we come back, it's all about Infuse taking on the Mighty Reason. Ooh.